Now let's go on to our week 4 picks. So
the standings, Rob.
Oh yes, Jay, do you have our standings through 3 weeks?
I do.
Perfect. So
I do. So as we stand through 48 games, we have Paul 28-20 winning record, Rob 31-17, and I stand at 32-16. So we're all winning through 3 weeks, and long may that continue.
Yes, indeed. So let's see if I can make up that 1 game deficit with these picks upcoming. So I believe we all went with the Lions for the Thursday night game, did we?
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
So we're started 1-0 already. What a start. So let's go 1 game at a time. Let's start off with the London game. I've already said Jacksonville. I think you both followed suit on that, but just to confirm, you're both going with Jacksonville over the Falcons?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Miami at Buffalo. Now I'm going with Miami, and I believe you both went with Miami too. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. Yep. Perfect. So now Denver at Chicago. Now this is going to be a lot of talent on show in this game. I think we've been spoiled for the 1 p.m. games. I'm surprised, based off of last week's games, they didn't put this at 9:25 for a blockbuster. But for me, it's where do you go? I'm gonna go. I'll toss a coin. I'm gonna say Denver are gonna win. Yeah, I don't even know why I think they're gonna win. They're both bad teams, and just think Denver have a better coach. What about you, Jay?
Broncos fans, Bears fans, I'm so sorry, but right now you've got it bad.
Jay, sorry, just stop you 1 minute. Was that a reference to the Super Bowl halftime show?
You got me already, Rob. I can't believe you got me already.
Sorry.
Well done. Well done. Wow. That was brilliant. Well done. You literally caught the first one.
I don't know.
Gonna go.
I'm glad you got it.
Broncos to bounce back. They've got to have some respect for themselves and get this W, surely.
What about you, Jay? What about you, Paul? Sorry.
This is a horrible game. I think any team that gives up 70, I think it breaks. I've never known it before, so I don't know how you react to it. But I think they're broken, and I'd have no problem picking anybody except if it was the Chicago Bears. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with my man, Justin Fields. Just forget you're a quarterback. Just play running back, Justin. Just don't turn the ball over. Just play running back. Just do read option all game long. The Broncos are finished. Giving up 70. I mean, what was that flight back? What was that flight back from Miami like? What was the atmosphere on that flight? What does Sean Payton say to his guys when he goes back into the locker room after that? Yeah, give me the Bears. Can't believe I'm doing that, but give me the Bears.
Right. Note this down. Not at 10:10 p.m. on the 29th of September 2023. Paul is backing Justin Fields. Okay.
Who played back, not quarterback.
Okay, a running back, Justin Fields. All right, got that. Okay. Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. I'm going with... I keep going back and forth on this game. If Deshaun Watson plays, I'm going with the Browns. If he doesn't play, I'm going with the Ravens. Jay, what about you?
I think there's a lot of injuries to overcome for the Ravens. We know that Myles Garrett is an absolute monster. The Browns are the number one defense, so I'm going to ride with them right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the Browns to win. Similar to you, though, Rob. If Deshaun doesn't play, I'll take the Ravens. But provided he plays, he played better last week.
Yep.
He doesn't have to be the old Deshaun Watson just yet. If this D continues to play well, Browns.
Okay, perfect. And what about you, Paul?
I'm going with the Ravens. I just think the Browns might be feeling themselves a little bit, and I don't trust the Browns historically to handle it when expectations are high for Cleveland. They fall historically, and I trust Lamar Jackson a lot more than I do Deshaun Watson. Okay. I'm going with Baltimore to win an AFC North typical hard-hitting close game. I trust the Ravens more than the Browns.
Okay, cool. Bengals at the Titans. I've got the Bengals. They got their first win last week. Burrow played, which I weren't expecting, but yeah, he played. And after the Titans game, they were terrible. They really were bad. So I'm going with the Bengals to win and to win comfortably. What about you, Jay?
I think the Bengals are playing a very dangerous game right now. I'm sort of looking at saying, Joe Burrow's calf, can you handle it? Because there's another guy that is in New York that is now out for the season who had a calf injury.
Yep. Calf
injuries can put a lot of pressure on the lower limb, notably the Achilles. So I would just be very careful. We're in week 4. It's not all or nothing right now. I know that you're 1-2. But provided Burrow plays, he looked limited last week. He played pretty well considering how limited he was in terms of footwork. You know, he missed a lot of throws because of that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans just don't give me confidence in their offense. There's a very, very big player on the Bengals D-line, Hendrickson, who was a monster at the Saints, who is now a monster here. There's no what word am I looking for? Basically, the year that he came, they went to the Super Bowl, and he played a big part in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bengals win this one, and they probably cover.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, Bengals win based on their D, not based on Joe Burrow. He looks like Drew Brees at the end, where his arms just giving up because he can't step into a throw because he's hurt. And like you said, it's dangerous. You don't win the Super Bowl in week 4, but they're not going to win any games or many enough games to make the playoffs without Joe Burrow. So that's the predicament that they're in. Their D's enough to handle the Titans. Hand the ball. Don't step back and throw the ball 40, 50 times like he did against the Rams. Hand the ball off to Mixon, for goodness sake, and just protect yourself a little bit more. Because I want to see Burrow in the playoffs because he's a superstar. We want to see the superstars in the playoffs. The Bengals have too much for the Titans. Bengals win.
The LA Rams at the Colts. Now, looks like Richardson will be back starting. Don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, to be honest, based off of last week. I'm going with the Rams. It's going to be a really close game. I believe Richardson will start. He's never seen a beast like Aaron Donald running towards him. And I think he'll be having nightmares for weeks to come. I'm going with Rams to win. What about you, Jay?
Well, say what you want about Gardner Minshew. Like, he is a competitor. He is one of the better backups in the league. So I think whether Anthony Richardson or Minshew Mania start, I'm going to go with the Colts, mainly more so because of the defense. We saw the Colts D-line destroy the Texans offensive line a couple of weeks ago. This Rams offensive line is majorly concerning, and I think the Colts will suffocate them. So I'm gonna base it off of that. Colts win. Defense steps up, and another difficult day for Stafford.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I totally agree. To me, when I was thinking of this game, it came down to the Rams O-line against the Colts pass rush, and the Colts don't have a fantastic pass rush, but they've got enough. And I think back to what the Bengals did to this Rams O-line, and it wasn't pretty. The Colts win this game. Regardless, doesn't matter who starts at quarterback. I think the Colts win this game, and the spread's 1, so they'll cover that.
Cool. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. I'm going with Tampa Bay. Don't think Carr's going to play. Tampa Bay have Mike Evans. Always like to see an Evans-Lattimore contest. They always like to go at it. I just think on defense, Tampa Bay will have too much, especially if it's Jameis Winston. That's going to be throwing the ball. I have no faith in Jameis Winston. They were 17-0 up in the fourth quarter last week and still managed to find a way of losing. So, for me, Tampa Bay to get the win. What about you, Jay?
Baker Mayfield, last chance really to sort of say, here I stand as an NFL quarterback. I'd say that for him personally, this is a must win. No one expected them to beat the Eagles, but a few bad mistakes by Baker were visible on Monday. If Carr doesn't play, I agree, Rob. Got to go with if Carr doesn't play, got to pick the Bucks. But if Carr does play, they do get Alvin Kamara back this week, so I would go with the Saints. But we'll say Carr's not playing, so Bucks win.
Perfect. What about you, Paul?
I found this game really tough. Like, I've gone back and forth 2 or 3 times with it. Jameis Winston revenge game. What does that mean? Is he capable of playing with revenge? Does that mean he just might throw another pick 6 just to like hand it over to the Bucks as like a farewell present? I don't know. I'm going to go the Saints at home.
Okay,
but no.
All right. Washington Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles. I see the Eagles winning this one comfortably. The Commanders' strength is their D-line. The Eagles have an O-line that can match up. So I see this one pretty comfortably being an Eagles win. And what about you, Jay?
The Commanders were the only team to beat the Eagles last year. But as I've said earlier today, the Eagles' offensive line, oh my God. All time, I think. This is like an all-time unit. Yep. And the Commanders did what I thought they would do last week. They gave up 33 to the Broncos in week 2, and the Bills slaughtered them. And it could get worse this week. Eagles win, Eagles cover.
And you, Paul? The Eagles are... The Commanders have they have many problems, but one of the biggest problems that they have is that Sam Howell holds on to the ball way too long, and he's not going to be. And if he does that, he's not going to get the time to hold on to the ball way too long against this Eagles D line. is. I don't think this is close. I think this could be like a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Eagles are going to win. Spreads what? What's the spread in this? 10?
8.5.
8.5. Yeah, that's not enough. Like, I think the Eagles handle this. Yeah. This could be they're playing backups in the third quarter for the Eagles. Just see that.
Cool. So you've got the Commanders, Paul.
Yep.
Right. So Minnesota Vikings at the Carolina Panthers. Man, this one's a horrible game. This is really just I'm gonna go with, and I don't know why, I'm going to go with the Vikings. Although now I've just said that out loud, I've just was thinking what a stupid decision that is. But I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson, Addison and Hawkinson over the Panthers. And I can't give you a reason why. I think we're still going to get some mistakes from Bryce Young. But I think he will look very good against this Vikings defense. But I see the Vikings putting up enough points, just like the Seattle Seahawks did. So I'm going to go with the Vikings to win.
Oh, Kirk Cousins, you remind me every so often why you're just not the guy. But sometimes you are. And I think this is going to be one of the weeks that you are after last week's debacle. The Panthers hung in there a lot longer than I thought they would against the Seahawks, but it eventually unraveled. I'm not so sure they will be better with Bryce Young starting if he plays this week. I'm going to go with the Vikings, but yeah, not confident in them at all after last week, but Vikings to win.
And what about yourself, Paul?
I agree. I'm going with the Vikings. Last year they won 13 games. This year they've already almost lost as many games as they lost the whole of last year. They've got far more talent than the Panthers. They blitz a ridiculous amount, the Vikings, which is probably not wise considering the talent or lack of talent that they have in the secondary. They're getting gashed. But if they continue to blitz like that, poor little Bryce Young might get hurt. So, yeah. Adam Thielen wasn't good enough. They didn't re-sign Adam Thielen, the Vikings. He wasn't good enough to stay on that team. He's the Panthers' number one. That tells me the disparity in talent. I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Houston Texans. Now, this is going to be a pretty interesting game. I'm going with the Steelers. Love the D. Give me some TJ Watt. I love watching him play. And the coach saw an improvement, slight improvement on the offensive side last week. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh D will always keep them in games. I think Houston got made to look better than what they are, against the Jags last week. So I see a win for Pittsburgh and Coach Tomlin. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, this one was a little bit tricky for me because I have been impressed with CJ Stroud, but I'm not impressed with his protection. The defense can hang in there. I did go back and forth, but in the end I did a U-turn and I'm going with the Steelers because I just think this rush against that offensive line, this could be a very tough day for CJ Stroud. He's come up, the Texans have come up against some fairly good defensive lines, but this rush with TJ Watt and Highsmith, Steelers win, and moving on.
Perfect. And what about you, Paul?
Yeah, I go with the coach. It's potential. Like, Steelers, my team. I know that this is a potential for them to drop. They historically can drop a game like this, but I don't see them doing it. I think he's playing. Yeah, the rookie's played well, but he's still a rookie, and he's gonna, similar to Belichick, he's gonna confuse him or attempt to confuse him, and he's gonna make it tough. They play man-to-man coverage outside, and the pass rush is ferocious from the Steelers. So, yeah, Steelers win, but it'll be close.
Okay. The Las Vegas Raiders at the LA Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers. They got their first win last week, even though Staley did everything in his power not to win the game. Allen is just week after week showing what a great wide receiver he is. I see that continuing against the Las Vegas secondary. Herbert, I think, will continue as he did last week. And I just see the Chargers having too much for the Raiders, who just, I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're trying to be. I don't see any identity. Or sorry, I see what they're trying to be. As Paul mentioned, the Seahawks, the Pats of the West, but they're trying to be a poor man's Pats of the West by the looks of it, because they're nowhere near that. So I see not a comfortable Chargers win, because I don't think there is such a thing, but I see the Chargers winning. And yourself, Jay?
Oh, it's another incompetent bowl, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how the Chargers roster doesn't look at their coaches and just say, "Can you help me?" Because it is just egregiously bad coaching-wise, I think. But at the same time, I look at the Raiders. Garoppolo, 3 games, 3 injuries, 6 interceptions. Nah. Devontae Adams wants out. Chandler Jones is AWOL. Dysfunction is what it says to me. Chargers win. Not a clean game, but they win.
Okay. And yourself, Paul?
Yeah, the Chargers will win this. This to me is a player prop kind of a game, with the Chargers and Herbert passing yards and the receivers receiving yards on the Chargers. They've lost Mike Williams for the year, though. That's big for the Chargers, but the Raiders secondary is atrocious. A couple of blown coverages last week against the Steelers. Our speedy wide receiver Calvin Austin, just blown coverage, just ran straight through the middle of that Raiders D. Yeah, they're a bad team, the Raiders, and if we knew who was playing quarterback, then I'd say go with the over. But Jimmy might not play, and then they're playing this rookie, or is he a rookie or second year guy, Aidan O'Connell, who they say is he a rookie? Yeah. Yeah. If it was anyone else, like we said, then I'd say back the Chargers to cover, but it's the Chargers, so somehow they'll still just win it by a field goal. But yeah, Chargers do win.
Okay. New England at Dallas. So I think we've gone through this. I went with a Dallas win. I think, Paul, you went with Dallas, and Jay, you went with Pats. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Perfect. Arizona Cardinals at San Francisco. San Francisco. Don't see them giving. I don't see many teams now taking for granted the Cardinals. That I think we all did over the first few weeks. That won't happen now. 49ers winning and winning comfortably. Although I think the spread is 14. That one, I am tempted on Cardinals at plus 14, but I think I'm just going to leave that bet altogether. But yeah, San Fran to win the game comfortably.
Do I think the 49ers will win? Yeah. Do I think the 49ers will cover a 14.5 spread? Not this week, no. I think we've got to give Jonathan Gannon his props. The amount of adversity that he's having to come through with whatever is going on in Arizona with the front office and their decision making. He's been in position to win 3 games. They could be 3-0. I still stand by that Giants game, ridiculously suspect. But they came back and beat the Cowboys. 49ers win, but be careful this week.
Yep.
This will be interesting.
And yourself, Paul?
Yeah, any potential upset was killed with the game against the Cowboys. The Niners will be ready. They won't take the Cardinals lightly. They'll handle the Cardinals. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I wouldn't be in a rush to back 14.5, but they'll win.
Kansas City Chiefs at the New York Jets for the Sunday night game. I am going with Kansas. Kansas to comfortably win. Jets didn't look good against the Pats. Somehow they almost got a touchdown with the last play of the game, which is shocking. But I see Mahomes and co comfortably winning this game in prime time on Sunday. What about you, Jay?
I mean, like, given the avalanche of criticism from New York, even Joe Namath, pretty sure Zach Wilson wouldn't mind trading places with Mahomes right now and being with the Chiefs, a successful organization. One-way traffic, Chiefs win, Chiefs cover, whatever the spread is. I just think there's just an incredible amount of pressure now on Zach Wilson, and he will not be able to cope with this. And Chiefs defense playing better. I expect the Chiefs offense to continue to go in the right trajectory. Another good win for them coming.
Perfect. And what about you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm more interested in this game, like the aftermath of this game, because what is going to happen in New York this week? Like, when the schedule was drawn up, this was Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers going to Patrick Mahomes, and now it's poor little Zach Wilson, who everybody hates, going to, and for the whole nation to watch. What's going to happen in New York this week? The New York sports media, they're going to have a meltdown. And not that I've watched it, but I've heard that they're falling out with each other in the locker room already, the Jets. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's not his fault. And yeah, watch this space. What happens with the Jets? The Chiefs are going to kill them. And yeah, the spread's 9.5.
Not enough.
No.
Okay.
It's not.
Seattle Seahawks at the New York Giants. I am going with the Seahawks. They played pretty well against the Panthers. The Giants played not very well at all through the first half against the Cardinals, and then last week against the 49ers didn't show me much. I see Seattle winning. Going to be challenging going cross country for the Monday night game, but I see them just about covering it. 1-score game, but Seattle to win. And you, Jake?
I mean, the best thing that can happen for the Giants right now is getting Saquon back. Watching Daniel Jones try and throw sometimes looks like he's trying to move mountains. I mean, it's just not very good, is it?
No.
The problem with Seattle, I think, I don't know what it is, but they just won't put teams away. So I think they will let the Giants linger here.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think they will win this game. But I think it'll be closer than maybe people think it will be. So yeah, Seahawks win. I don't know what the spread is, but this might be one of those where Seattle win by under a touchdown.
Right, and yourself, Paul?
So I don't know what to make of the Seahawks so far. Like, I do know one thing is that their D is no good, but I don't know if that matters that much because they're playing against the Giants, Daniel Jones, and this offense. So I think they might get away with it. The West Coast team going east, it's not going to be that much of a problem because it's the Monday night game, not a 1:00 Eastern game on a Sunday. So yeah, give me the Seahawks. Seahawks win.